What's up, YouTube? I am Z-Town Train, and this is just a basic dude vlog. And it's going to be noisy today, man. It's noisy outside. I hope that that person who's doing work right now, I believe with a chainsaw, doesn't make this video unlistenable. But I was getting ready to go fishing, and the whole thing about it is that I haven't done a lot of fishing in a few years. I love fishing and just haven't been doing it. I don't know why. I getting older, maybe I'm just a little bit dragged down and dragged out. I don't know. But I decided this year that we were going to hit this hard as we can, all things considered. Fishing. I thought we would talk about fishing. A couple little things, you know. Cool story. So when I was leaving Washington, I left all my fishing poles in Washington by accident. Left them sitting on a shelf. My buddy up there picked them up and has them up there, probably in the shed somewhere. I don't know. But I left everything sitting on a shelf. It was the last thing I was going to load up. I didn't want them to get broken, and I just forgot them. Didn't stick them in the truck. We had a lot of stuff going on when we were moving. So I get down here, and I'm like, man, I've got to get some fishing rods. So I basically sort of put together fishing rods and stuff off Facebook Marketplace. And one of the more interesting deals that I made was this guy. I was sitting there one morning. I had just woke up. I work until 7 in the morning. And I had just woke up. It was probably like 11:30. And sometimes I wake up a couple times throughout the day. It's just what it is, right? I woke up, checked Facebook Marketplace, and this guy had a couple fishing rods and a tackle box, and it said free. And then I was like, you know, he probably is going to put the price in the ad. And I hit the ad, and it says free to the first person that messages me. And I was like, well, there's no way nobody messaged him. So I messaged him and I said, hey man, you know, I'd love to have those fish poles because I want to take my kids fishing. And he was like, you're the first person. He was like, isn't that something? And I was like, well, that's great, you know. And he gave me his address. It was about 20 minutes from my house, and I went and I picked them up. Now, are the ones that I picked up from him perfect? Well, I mean, they're not, you know. I mean, they need some work. They're a little rusty, you know, they got some old line on them. But are they fishing poles? Hell yeah. And the ones I picked up from that fellow was this really nice, old school, it's a little bit older, Zebco 404 combo, back when they made the rods brown. And he's pretty solid. This eye right here is bad. I had to do some working on this eye, and I think it's going to go bad. But it was also a free fishing rod, so I ain't crying. And it's a Zebco, and they are currently... a lot of people aren't happy with Zebco for some reason, but for me, I've always had at least one Zebco in the roundup, you know? So we got this, he's a little spin caster, or a little, close face spinning reel, you know? And so that was a good one. But the other one that I picked up from him, I thought was hilarious, and I wish they would make again. Because it is this little fellow. Now there is a fishing rod that's kind of like this called a Dock Demon, but this is a Tomahawk Apache, and they used to sell this little rod for $10 at Walmart, and they don't anymore. I can't find them new. But this little thing I think is going to be sweet, because where I live, there are 250 miles of canals in the city of Cape Coral. And dox myself. Anyway, there are 250 miles of canals in Cape Coral, Florida. And you can't get into and out of a lot of this stuff easy. You don't want to go in people's backyards. You don't want to go on golf courses and stuff. But to pack around and just chuck a line into a canal, I think that little Tomahawk Apache is about perfect. I think that he is just handy. And so what I'm going to do, he's a little rusty, and so the line on him's a little old. So what I'm going to do is kind of get him back up to snuff. And we're going to use this guy. I think that my youngest son would probably love using this pole. He thought it was pretty cool when he saw it too. And maybe even Aiden would like to watch it or use it. But he's going to be kind of my stealth runner. You know, he's just a little bitty feller. And I'm going to use him for kind of stealth gonzo fishing tactics. Like you know, just kind of going in, going out, getting fish and getting out. So I think that, and besides, it'll just be easy to pack. But I also got a rod that I made some trades with a fellow that makes custom fishing rods. This is not a custom fishing rod, but it does have a custom handle on it. And it's just an old Shakespeare Tiger. And it's the Tiger 3, and this is going to be my main rod this year. He's a 7-footer. He's huge, but it's about perfect for everything that I would need. It's a really great all-around rod, and that's going to be my main guy this year. So I have another one that I also made some cool trades and deals for, and that is this other really nice green Shakespeare Tiger 3, which they were from 2 different places, which is hilarious, and it's a little bit different. I don't know if it's older or newer than the other one, but the other Shakespeare Tiger 3 is about the same rod, and he's geared up hardcore for catfish right now with that heavy leader on there, nice big weight on there, and a good big hook. He's set up for catfishing. Now, I'm going through all the fishing stuff, and I'm thinking that there's one thing that's really evident in my tackle box, and that is that I have a very serious love affair for the Roostertail fishing lure. It was made by Yakima Bait Company. It's been around for a long time. The founder of Yakima Bait Company's son invented the Roostertail, and it originally wasn't called a Roostertail. It was originally called some kind of like a retreat, something, it was just a funky name. But he went to the boat races, the hydroplane races, and saw the Roostertails in the water and decided that that was a much better name for his fishing lure. And I have just tons of Roostertails. Some of them I got from my grandpa, of course. Some of them I bought myself over the years. And I just have so many in so many different colors because I really believe in the Roostertail as a lure. And he's just a inline spinning bait with a little fly fluff off the end of him there and a weight to him. And some people think that Roostertails is just, they automatically assume that you're going trout fishing. But I've caught all different kinds of fish on Roostertails. I think that they're a great all-around lure for just about anything. And I've got them in many, many sizes. We got the big fellas like this. And then all the way down to he's hauling weight. All the way down to some much smaller ones, and they come in wild colors. I tend to prefer the wild colors. All the way down to little fellas, like this pink and yellow one right here, with that wild. They got cool stripes, those tiger stripes on them. And I just have a ton of Roostertails, and I think that they're great. I really recommend Roostertail fishing. There's a lot of videos about how to fish with Roostertails online. Check out the spots and the wild colors on that fella there. And I just have a lifelong love affair for the look of a Roostertail and the way that you can fish with a Roostertail. I think they're really handy for any kind of fish. Also, as I'm going through my gear, getting my stuff rigged up for these fishing trips that I want to do, there's a couple things that I also highly recommend that I'm going to try to hit the fish down here in Florida with. One of them is Green Label Pautzke Fireballs. I finally got another can of them, and these are one of my favorite baits. Caught a lot of perch and a lot of trout with these Pautzke Fireballs, and what I like to do is I like to take a marshmallow and do like a marshmallow on the hook up at the very top, and then I do 2 or 3 fireballs on the hook right after that, and then throw a bobber on there and just wing them out there. Maybe put about 4 feet of line under that bobber. A little bit of weight, not too much weight, a little bit of weight. You don't want enough weight on your line that the fish can feel the weight when he hits your bait. You want just enough for it to work, right? Just enough weight for it to work. That's why a big inline weight would work for the catfish, whereas like you might just want a couple of little split shot for something like perch. Another thing that you really need to check into is when I was really hot and heavy into fishing, it was completely fine to use. It was just getting to a point where they were saying lead weights are bad. And they had started making weights out of bismuth and tungsten and all this other stuff. So definitely check what your split shot is, because some places, and I'm pretty sure some of my viewers are friends and family in Washington, I'm pretty sure that lead's banned in Washington, and I'm certain it is in Florida too. So you might just want to check into what kind of split shot you still have in your tackle box. I was going through looking at hooks and things, and I found some fishing archaeology. And this package of bait holder hooks, I've only used about half of this particular package, and I've had this package since probably like I want to say 2001. It's dated, literally there's a date on the package. Give me 1 second here and I'll find that date. There it is. It's dated Auburn, Washington, 1999. And what I did was, because I wanted to use them, and the hooks aren't rusted or anything, right? The hooks are still pretty good. I took a few out and tested the leaders that were on them. I tied the leader off, and then I used a pair of needle nose pliers and just pulled and see how far I can pull before I break the leader. And the leaders are still great. So even though they're like 22-year-old hooks, the leaders on them are fine. So I'm going to use these this year. I'm going to run with these Danielson hooks, these old Danielson hooks. I do not know. I'll have to look up if Danielson is still even a fishing company. I have no idea. But I thought that was really neat. As I was going through my stuff, I was like, man, that's a nice big package of hooks. And I've only run through about half of them. So that's what we're going to run some this year, some of these old hooks. And, you got to get your box set up, So this has some little plugs and some smaller. This is my smaller Roostertails. This package is all my bigger spinner baits and Roostertails. I'm a real big fan of spinner baits. I just really like them. But I also do a little bit of fishing with plugs. We got some old Rapalas in here. This articulated Rapala is the very first Rapala that I ever bought. I bought that when I was probably 16, and it was the first time I'd tried fishing with something other than a hook and a worm or a hook and some Pautzke Fireballs. And I just kind of have a few Rapala just in case. Just don't want to try and yank them out and use them. You don't have to have 100 of everything. Fishing doesn't have to be the most expensive thing. It's a cheap sport. It doesn't have to be expensive. I pulled those 2 poles online for free. So if you're really just watching what you're getting into, fishing can be cheap. And if you're under 15 in Washington and under 16 in Florida, you can fish for free. And down here with residential, my fishing licenses were dirt cheap in Florida. My freshwater was 17, my saltwater was 17, and that's it. I'm set up really well. There were a few free tags that I needed to put on there for reef fish and a few other things, freshwater angler tag thing, but they were free. So residentially, it is very cheap to fish here in Florida. I don't remember how much it cost the last time I bought my fishing license in Washington, but I think it was $33 or something like that. I don't rightly remember. It's been a few years. It's been a few years before I moved down here that I hadn't been fishing very much or doing really anything very much, to be honest. But we're going to run it out there and we're going to go fishing. And I'm going to make some fishing videos and some fishing streams. It's not going to be all of the channel. We're still going to do gear reviews. We're still going to do all that other stuff. But we're going to run a little fishing. So this I use as a cleaning knife. It's supposed to be a fillet knife. It's a coast folding fillet knife, but there's not a lot of flex to it for a fillet knife. There's a little bit, but not a lot. So the coast folding fillet knife is pretty good, and they're dirt cheap online. What else do I keep in here? Do I keep a secret weapon? What's my secret weapon? Do I keep a secret weapon? Oh, not that. Never use that. It's illegal. It's a bad secret weapon. Then I have this old beat up fillet knife that I got from my grandpa with a lot more flex to it. And this is what I would use to fillet a fish with, right? I keep a line to keep fish on. I keep a few different kinds of split shot sinkers and some inline sinkers. A little bit of inline and some split shot. And one day I'm going to show you a knot that I learned how to tie that involves using a small wax book match to keep your split shot sinker higher up on your line. And I'll show you guys how to do that one day in one of these videos. I always keep a pair of wire cutters in my tackle box. a small wrench to use for my reels in case I need to get those bad boys opened up, or just something breaks on one of my reels. I keep a few bobbers. So this tackle box I really just keep. You don't have to have giant $500 tackle boxes. It's nice to have all different lures and all of those things, but it doesn't have to be. This is it. You know, a few of each thing, just a good variety, will get you through. I use all different kinds of baits and lures. But honestly, these bad boys are a hardcore go-to for me. One of my favorites. I really like Berkeley Power Bait. There's a lot of different stuff. A little glow-in-the-dark bobber for when you do some of those nighttime bomber runs. Oh, and I have a hypodermic needle in my kit. My grandpa showed me to put just a little bit of air in the night crawlers so that they would float above like a Carolina rig. I don't know. I've never really done it. I'm already putting a hook through this worm to feed it to a fish, and I feel a little bit weird about inflating it with air, but he swore by it. I don't think I ever saw Grandpa put a worm in the water that he didn't inflate a little bit with air, just to make it float just a little bit, you know. Anyway, so we got the old Tiger 3. I wish they would come back with this fishing pole. This is Tomahawk Apache. I think a couple of these would be neat. I could stick them everywhere. Really small, easy and handy. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And so we're going to go fishing. I'm gonna make a couple videos fishing. It's not going to be all of the channel, but it's going to be some of the channel, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, we've taken a look at my fishing stuff. I did the guy thing where I'm showing off my toys, and showed you a couple of the things that we're going to go and use and do. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I thought it was a neat idea for a video. Now, I'm Z-Town Train. This is just a basic dude vlog, and I'm out of here. I'm pouring sweat right into my eyeballs. I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. Have an awesome day. I'm serious. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.